Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes Tottenham blog and to the West Ham 2 Tottenham 1 match review. I am back. I'm no longer Marcelo. Marcelo's sitting beside me today. I just want to say, first of all, massive thank you to these three here and Arian as well for running the watch along today. It was an absolutely fantastic show in the midst of a very poor performance from Tottenham Hotspur. But this evening, we're going to rip through the bones of that performance. We're going to talk about Jose, some quotes he's had after the game. We're going to talk about some stats. It's playing back my ear here. Sorry, 1 second. The on stream playing back is disorientating me. We're going to talk players, managers, stats, everything about that game, and try and decide where Tottenham go from here. It's a poor situation at the moment. It's a poor one. It's a tough one to find some positivity in, but we're going to do our best. But first of all, Marcelo, thank you so much for hosting that watch down today. How are you getting on this evening?
Yeah, bro, you know what I mean? Like I was up for it in the morning, you know what I mean? I was a little bit giddy, you know what I mean, about hosting. Never hosted before, but you know what I mean, Matty Hayes, you helped me a lot, so I was like, you know what I mean, I got to do it for Matty, so you know what I mean, it was good to hear that the stream went well, and I mean, other than that, bro, there's not much positives to take off from today, bro. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Well, look,
I'm
we'll try to get into those a little bit after we chat about the game and things like that. David, how are you this evening? David,
David,
can you
are
hear
you
me?
there, David?
I think you may be lost. We go to you, Lily White. How are you getting on?
Yeah, all good, all good. Apart from Tottenham Hotspur, I've tried to ignore the fact that we were abysmal earlier. Seeing Arsenal lose as well cheered me up a little more. So I'd say looking forward to doing the stream. I'm all good.
Perfect. Well, look, thanks to the three of you for coming on for the chat. And we have David back here. You're right, David?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened, lads. I couldn't hear a thing.
All right. Okay. Well, look,
Okay, yeah,
we're back here. We have you back. Look, before we get started, hit that like button, subscribe if you want more watch alongs, previews, podcasts, any type of Spurs content. Check out David and Lily White Lane's channels in the description below as well. And let's dive straight into things. Guys, I want to start in that first goal. Across into the box, no one marking Antonio. A shot that Lloris could have dealt with a bit better and fired into the roof of the net. David, we'll come to you first. What did you make of that? Such a poor start. Such a poor start. It's the last thing we needed in a game like this. Yet we conceded within 4 minutes. What did you make of that goal in particular?
Look, honestly, it was a disgrace. It was the same with both halves. First of all, it was both halves. It seems to be a common theme. Whether it's after half time or whether it's the start of the game, they're conceding these stupid goals. They're not switched on. They should be focused. It's not good enough. Again, it's defensive errors. You know what I mean? Dyer, absolute disaster. Sanchez, disaster. Lloris, again, disaster. You know what I mean? Man, it's just frustrating. It really is frustrating. Like, I just don't know what's going on. Like, we should be going out there from the very start, looking for blood. For blood. It's West Ham. It's a derby game. It's a London derby. You know, they already made a show of us in our own stadium when we were 3-0 up and they had a few minutes left and they came back and got the 3 on. Like, you do not start a game the way we started that game. You just don't do it, and you don't concede that early. Like, where was their motivation today? Where was the players' motivation and drive and desire and own personal pride? First and foremost, personal pride. To, like, make sure we won that game. Especially, like, you know what I mean, showing us that they were actually hurting from that 3-3. Like, these players just go through so many, like, they're just too happy to be here. They don't care. You know what I mean? It's an absolute joke. They don't care. It's not the way you start London Derby, and that's for sure.
Yeah, you want to start in the front foot, but
Connor actually making a good point here was David not asleep for the first goal. I forgot that you actually missed that in the live watch along, David.
I've seen the goal since though.
You've seen it, yeah. Look, I've seen it as well. It was a very questionable one. Mr. K, welcome to the stream. We've got Jiminy coming in here. Welcome to other people. We've Fen from Everything Football. We've got Holly, Dara, Simon, Paul, all the usual suspects in that live chat. Marcelo, we also conceded very early on in the second half as well. I want to bring a quick stat here from Optajo. This is the first time a Jose Mourinho side has conceded in the opening 5 minutes of both halves in a Premier League match. So never before has Jose experienced something like this in terms of conceding early goals in both halves in a game. Talk us through that second goal and who you think was at fault.
I mean, bro, that's Tottenham breaking records all in the wrong way, bro. That's what we do, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, bro, like The second goal was a joke. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was saying offsides. When I first saw it, I was like, he's mile onside, bro. We can't keep a line. We can't keep a defensive line, man. Keep saying it all the time. We play players on. You know what I mean? I can go back to the Liverpool game where we played Mane on. You know what I mean? For the Firmino goal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like we do this so often where we play players on and. You know what I mean? Because we don't know how to keep a defensive shape. And this is where I look at the whole defensive line. It's like, where's the communication, man? You know what I mean? This is some simple stuff. Like, as a professional, you should know this. You know what I mean? Like some of these mistakes are almost championship-like. You know what I mean? But, like,
Yeah.
it's just like, but the thing was, like, gut-wrenching is that, like, okay, the first half wasn't good, right? That happens in football. You know what I mean? Even the best of teams don't have the first halves, right? But I was saying in the second half, all right, David, we can win this game. We can come back. We just have to show the intensity. And then as soon as that, David just said, no, we can't because we just conceded a goal. And I was just like, I was just like, this is unbelievable, bro. Like, how do you start that second half like that after the first half? You know what I mean?
But the thing is, you can guarantee that Jose had these players hanging on cold pegs. He was furious in there at halftime. And then they come out and do that straight away. That's what kills me. You know, they had halftime to discuss it, sort it out, come out in the second half pumped. They were given another chance at halftime to come out pumped. And that shit happens again. You know what I mean? Honestly, like Dyer and Sanchez, like the two of them have low football IQ. They're too reactionary instead of being proactive. You know, putting themselves in the right position so these mistakes don't happen. What they do is they wait and then they react as soon as it's too late. Sorry, go ahead there.
We've got Paul here coming in the €5 super chat. Paul, thank you very, very much for that. Said it earlier, Son's head is elsewhere. He's off come the summer. Daddy has spoken. And look, we'll touch on that a little bit very quickly. A lot of people quite concerned about the fact that Son hasn't yet signed his new contract. He hasn't been on form in recent months. I'd say even spanning back as far as Christmas, Son hasn't been putting the ball in the back of the net as often as you would expect. And for me, the biggest concern is that he is still getting into those goal-scoring positions quite often, but he just can't seem to put that finishing touch on the ball, which is a big concern. Lily White, what's your opinions on the Son situation right now?
Look, when it comes to Heung-min Son, for me, he's a player who's so talented. He served us for 5 years. And for me, if I'm Son, I'm thinking, what's the point? What's the point in running around and busting my ass if I know that this defence is just going to cost me all my hard work? He can score 1, 2, 3, 4 goals. We scored 4 goals against 7. Yeah, it's not enough. And if I'm Heung-min Son, if I'm Harry Kane, I'm honestly thinking, what more can I give to this club if every single thing I do in every game, I go out there to give it my all, I go out there to score goals, yet no one's providing any balls to me. And our defence keeps on letting us down with individual mistakes. And I'm thinking, if I'm Heung-min Son, you know, I've served this club for 5 years, 5 years of passion, 5 years of fantastic. Son, for me, definitely one of the greatest players in the Premier League right now. One of the greatest players to ever come to Tottenham Hotspur, honestly. I love Sonny, right? Mm-hmm. And I look at a player such as Sonny and I look, you know, he has that passion for the club, but there's a line where he's not a Tottenham Hotspur supporter, and although he has that passion for the club, it's getting to a point now where no matter what he does, no matter how much he gives every single game, it's simply not enough because our defence keeps letting us down. So I'm thinking, if I'm Sonny, what's the point in this anymore?
Demoralizing, bro. You know what I mean? And also, I think he's a victim of his own success. You know what I mean? Remember in the beginning of the season where he was just scoring loads of goals, just scoring goals, and we're like, there's no way he can keep this up. You know what I mean? We said it ourselves. There's no way he can keep up this goal scoring record. And you know what I mean? Like when you're a striker and you're scoring goals, but then you're seeing, you know, your defense go out and do that. You know what I mean? It's demoralizing as an attacker. But then again, you know what I mean? I can't excuse Sonny. And you know me, Maddie. You know me. Like I'm the biggest Sonny supporter there is, bro.
100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I can't excuse him for today, man. Like, I don't care if it's demoralizing. This is a London derby. You show up. And that goes the same thing for Kane, bro. You know what I mean? Kane was off it today. And you're the biggest Kane fan, you know, like David. Yeah. So it's like, I felt like they both let us down today. You know what I mean? You show up for these games.
Yeah, and there's a comment there a second ago saying, Humphrey saying, can you blame Son or Harry if they leave? If you were in their shoes, why would you stay? And that's exactly where my worries are coming from in this situation. And I saw a lot of Spurs fans today saying, you know, I hope Harry Kane leaves because he deserves better than this club. Now, I wouldn't feel like that. I obviously don't hope Harry Kane leaves. I hope he stays at Spurs. And if he wins trophies in his career, I want that to be at Spurs. But I've said it time and time again in the last couple of months that if Harry Kane did leave Tottenham Hotspur, we could not hold it against him. And I would not have a bad word to say about that man. Because and I would put Son in the same boat, has given the best part of their careers to Spurs. and not gotten enough in return. They've not gotten the investment from the board that know we have the players, the personnel, the spine of the team to carry us through to success. And they've not had the investment in terms of building that team around them. They've not done what they needed to do to ensure we reap the benefits of having players like them at the club. We've Paul here saying, under ENIC, eat, sleep, repeat as per usual. How long do we accept and discuss the same atrocious standings again and again? Acone here saying ENIC obviously is the biggest problem. Look, there's obviously a lot to say about the board, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later. Just to kind of finish off talking about the game, a few of the stats. There's one more stat I think I wanted to bring here. Tottenham haven't won any of their last 11 Premier League games when behind at half-time, drawing 2 and losing 9, losing each of their last 6. Now, we did manage to get a goal back, Lucas Moura scoring from a header. And look, after that, we created a lot of chances. We peppered that West Ham goal, but the ball did not go into the back of the net. And Lillywhite, I was watching your review on your channel a while ago, and you said it's all well and good playing well and creating the chances, but at the end of the day, we lost the game. And I fully agree with you. That's all that matters. We did not get the 3 points. And you can praise the players for creating chances all you want, but they're still the same players that got us in a position that we were 2-0 down in that game.
Yeah.
Look, you can blame the defence, obviously. Absolutely, and I think that's the phrase you used as well. Lillywhite, we'll come to you on this one. Is there a winning mentality in the squad?
No, there really isn't. I think certain players do, and I think certain players don't. Because when we lose these games, they want Jose Mourinho to give them a hug and go, don't worry, guys, we played the Spursy way. We went out there and we attacked and we gave it our all. And I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. What more can this manager actually do? What more can he get out of half of these players who are basically confidence players? When everything's going well, they'll come out and perform. When everything's not going well, they'll come out and basically cause half of our players are abysmal. And the only reason they're still here is because of this board. But going back to your point, I've been a big advocate of this. Football it's a result business, right? As much as I enjoy watching it, as much as I enjoy entertaining games, of course, I'd rather see attacking football. Not from Spurs, but of course, I'd rather see attacking game than just two sides sitting back. Of course, I would. There comes a point where it don't matter what type of football you play, it don't matter how well you play. If you lose the game, you lose it. Champions League final, it was a great journey there, but at the end of the day, we come out of there losing 2-0, not lifting a trophy. And I think if we were sitting here right now with Pochettino lifting that trophy, Poch would still be our manager and Harry Kane would be classed as the best striker in the world. Because this is the issue with this team. And certain players want to go out there and give it their all. And Højbjerg as well for the past few weeks. He wants to go out there and give it his all. But recently, he's just thinking, what's the point? And I can tell because he's not running around as much as he wants to. And he's not putting in these crucial tackles because he's just thinking, what is the point? What more can I actually do for this team where everything I put in, people are going to cost me at the back? And it's once again individual errors where we're sitting here talking about 2-1 loss. And as to say, I said on my channel, on my review for this game, right? It don't matter what the scoreline is at the end of the day, whether you play attacking football, defensive football, it's the players that always come to cost us. And whether we play well, whether we play expansive, whether we play defensive, we lost. Okay, 30 good minutes in an abysmal performance does not deserve my praise. People saying, we came out in that second half and we looked like we wanted it. Why didn't we want it in the first half?
Why didn't we want it in the first minute of the second half?
Exactly.
Yeah, why didn't we want?
Yeah, exactly.
Why wouldn't we want it in the first minute of the second half? Because as far as I'm concerned, you talk about a brilliant, second half performance. As far as I'm concerned, we conceded in the first minute in the second half. That's not a brilliant performance.
No, a game's 90 minutes anyway. Yeah. Wait until 60 minutes till you're 2 down because you're worried about the fans' reaction to start playing football is an absolute joke. You should be at that from 90 minutes, from the minute that whistle blows, from the minute you walk over that white line. You should be ready to go. We're not. We want to sit here and settle, take our time, settle into the game. Everything's rosy. Forget we're a goal behind. Just take your time, settle into the game. Oh, shit, we're 2-0 down. It's the same story every week, and I'm getting fed up with it now. These players honestly need to start having a look at themselves in the mirror. Like you said, stop this, slapping them on the back and everything else. Things will get better soon. Just keep encouraging them. Bullshit. End of. At the end of the day now, they're going to have to man up, and I'm going to start treating them like a man. I'm going to start telling them some home truths because it's what they need. It's what they need. Well, this approach hasn't worked. This whole, let's pretend the errors aren't there. Let's encourage them, take the tension away from them. No, honestly, let's get real. It's not good enough. This is West Ham. This is unforgivable in us fans' eyes. Unforgivable. It's West Ham. And to let them do a double on us, because the first 3-3 felt like a loss because we were in such a commanding position. You know what I mean? To let them do a double over us this season. You know what I mean? If West Ham beat Tottenham, it's a good season. That's how they judge their seasons. They do nothing else but make up the league number in the Premier League. Yeah. And the only thing they live for is beating Tottenham. It's their FA Cup final. It's their biggest game of the season. and we let them do it twice. It's inexcusable. It is inexcusable. And honestly, I speak for myself here, but it's going to take, they can go on and win me the next 3 games. You know what I mean? But I want the next 3 games, and I want the Arsenal game before I even start thinking about forgiving them. And they have a long road to go ahead. I've never felt so detached from a Spurs squad, from a set of players in my entire life. Honestly, I haven't. I hate most of this squad. Usually I can only pick out, 2 or 3 that, I'd sell straight away. Honestly, the fact that I can only think of 6 that I'd keep is not good. It's not good. It's not a good situation to be in.
That's the number every fan is coming up with. I don't think I've met a fan or spoken to a fan who can find more than 6, maybe 7 players that they think could be part of this squad that maybe will be successful at Spurs, whether that's under Jose Mourinho or under the tutelage of a different man. We'll have to wait and see where that one goes. But on your point there about our record against West Ham this season, this is the first time Tottenham have failed to beat West Ham home or away in a league season since 2013-14. 7 years since we went a season without beating West Ham in the league. And it happens this season now under Jose Mourinho. On the point of defence, a lot of people, the majority of the Jose out brigade have been saying the reason we're not getting results is because we play defensive football. The reason we don't want Jose at the club is because we're playing defensive football. Spurs didn't do that for a lot of that second half today. Spurs played attacking football, and me and David have definitely making the point. I think the other two of you have as well, that if we do play attacking football, our defence is going to be extremely exposed. And I think now that Jose has played more attacking football in recent games, we can see the 5 against Everton, we can see the 2 against West Ham and lost the game. We're now starting to see it. Look, we saw it from the start, but a lot of people are now starting to realise it is the players more than it is the manager. Now, look, the manager is still letting himself down. The manager is making questionable decisions. The manager is not conducting himself well in the press. He's making a lot of mistakes, and we will touch on that a little bit later. But this defence isn't good enough, and there's no manager can fix that. Jose said today, when you make mistakes, you can say you deserve to be punished. So when we made 2 defensive mistakes, especially the nature of the second goal, you deserve to be punished. He's been reluctant to call out this defence, and it looks like maybe he might be starting to do that now. It's taken a long while. We've seen the errors in the defence, it seems, a lot earlier than he did. But I just don't know what fans expect of this manager, and I'm still not Jose out. I'm finding it harder and harder to defend him with every day that passes. But I still don't know how you can look at the situation and think it's the manager rather than the players. We're getting the attacking football that you want now.
Jose was ahead of the curve, right? When we were sitting there top of the league and people were sitting there, I don't understand why we're playing like this. Well, you can argue now that Jose already foreseen all this coming and he's way ahead of the curve, because the whole system was set up to help the defenders. And we were nicking games, and he kept us in games, and we were winning games. So you can argue that he was actually ahead of the curve. And that the fact that even when we were top of the league, right, and fans are complaining the way we played, maybe Jose has started to listen to that a little bit, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing, because people didn't want the Jose way. No. They want this, let's play Tottenham way. That doesn't suit Jose, and he's the manager.
Yeah,
so
look what got him sacked at United.
Jose was ahead of the curve, and we need to go back to the way we were playing. End of. It's proven that it gets results. I don't care what way we play, as long as we get results and wins. And I also maintained that when we were top of the league. I don't care. It's a results business. Jose was ahead of the curve, and that's why we played that way. So anyone that comes out here and criticizes Jose, you're the problem. You are the problem, because at the end of the day, this guy was way ahead of the curve. He foreseen this before any of us picked it up.
Yeah. Matty, I don't know if you remember when Jose was a pundit. When he first got sacked by United, he did the pundit for Sky Sports. He said the next job he gets, he's gonna. He said that he will try to respect and understand what the fans want and what the board wants. That's something he said. You can go back to that interview. He said the mistake he did at United was because he played his way and not the United way. And now I think he's seeing that, and he's seeing shades of United where, you know what I mean? Because he didn't get sacked at United for being a failure. If you really look at what he did at United, it was probably he has had the most successful season. You know what I mean? 2 of the most successful seasons since Alex Ferguson. So it wasn't failure. I mean, if you look at the amount of chances Ole has gotten, you know what I mean? Despite, failing at the big games, you know what I mean? They definitely didn't go give Jose a chance, but I think it's the style of football, and he knows that. And he's trying to change it up, but it's just you can't do it with these players. It's just, man, I saw with Davinson Sanchez falling down in his face twice. And now I do have to agree with you, though, about the whole comments about Jose isn't helping himself, though. But we'll get to that in a different different stage, I guess.
Look, here's a stat that I just want to touch on, if that's all right. And this is something that I looked up before this. Jose Mourinho won more trophies at Manchester United, basically since Sir Alex Ferguson did get sacked. I mean, not sacked. Since he'd never get sacked. Since Sir Alex Ferguson did leave Manchester United, than the other managers combined. That's David Moyes, that's Louis van Gaal, and that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. All combined, all three won less than Jose Mourinho, because Jose Mourinho went there and he won them trophies. I'd kill to have those trophies at Manchester United. Hell, I don't think we'd ever sack him. But there comes a point where you have to look and say, none of this is the manager. The manager has been left with our former managers dead wood because the board hasn't invested in replacements. And I'll touch on that a lot more later in the stream, but I just wanted to give that stat there.
Yeah, no, that is a very interesting stat. We might as well jump onto that now, because I'm trying to make this stream something that's looking forward to kind of where Spurs go from here, rather than just complaining about the last couple of months again, which I know we could definitely sit here for hours and do. Jose Mourinho has earned 81 points after 50 league matches in charge of Spurs, his lowest total at this stage in any managerial stint. That's Porto, Chelsea the first time, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Chelsea again, and Manchester United. At every single one of those clubs, he did have more than 81 points after 50 league games. Jose Mourinho also has the lowest league win percentage of any Tottenham manager since Juan de Ramos. Those stats courtesy of Opta Joe and the Spurs web on Twitter. David, the criticism of Jose Mourinho is fully warranted, and it's fully, at the end of the day, we're a Champions League level side who are in mid-table in the Premier League. He is not making
we're not
decisions.
Champions League level side. When was the last time we finished in Champions League?
Sorry, we're a Champions League level side. A Champions League level club that has players who should be playing in the Champions League. So he's not helping himself with some of the things he does. Some of the things he says in the press, some of the tactical changes he makes, some of the subs he makes. Like I obviously wasn't watching the game as much as you say, so I suppose I'll get your opinion on this first. What did you make of his decision to take Lamela off at halftime?
I thought it was shocking.
Look, I understand it, because Lamela is a fiery character. He's on a yellow card. Although at the time I didn't really get it, but thinking back, Lamela was on a yellow card. It's a London derby. The more shit passes he sees going on by some of our players, the more frustrating he was getting, and the more he was in danger of getting sent off. So in effect, to keep 11 men on the pitch, I think it was actually a shrewd move. I do. But at the same time, obviously it didn't help. But at the end of the day, what's he supposed to do? Lamela put him in that situation. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then like the thing is with this Champions League thing, we have 5 or 6 players that deserve to play in the Champions League. Dyer ain't getting in no Champions League team. Sanchez ain't getting in no Champions League team. Davies ain't. Doherty ain't. Aurier ain't. You know what I mean? Harry Winks isn't. Lamela doesn't. Bergwijn doesn't. You know what I mean? I'd even go as far as saying as Lucas Moura wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason why Lucas Moura left PSG and came to Tottenham, because they didn't want him anymore. He wasn't Champions League level. They knew that. He's not elite level. Same as Aurier. Do you know what I mean? So, the thing is, we can say that we have the squad to get Champions League, but realistically, we don't. We just don't. You know what I mean? We barely have the squad to get over most of the games we've had in Europa League this year. Imagine we were in Champions League, we'd be absolutely demolished, and we'd be out because we would be finished 4th in the group stage. At the end of the day, as much as people want to try and I get what you're saying, asking the question. I get the questions do have to be asked, but at the same time, honestly, what more can he do? He's used every personnel in the panel available to him, and can't get a tune out of him. And it's the same stuff that was happening under Pochettino. You know what I mean? This is the same drought we were going on under Pochettino. Same dire football right now that we're watching that was under Pochettino. So, you can't keep stacking the managers and blaming the managers. There comes a point where this all has to come to a bubble, and, the players aren't good enough. When the players aren't good enough, it's the board's problem. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they're going to have to sort it out. But it's to sit here and if we throw Jose under the bus, honestly, I think it's a disaster, because what I'd say to Spurs fans is be very careful with what you wish for. Very, very careful with what you wish for, because he could go tomorrow. At the end of the day, the reason why Mourinho was brought in my opinion, now looking back at it, is because he was the best defensive coach in the world. He was available. Now, when they looked at under Poch's attacking style, the players couldn't play it because we were getting exposed each week and end up losing the games. So they said, I have an idea. Let's bring in Mourinho, but not really invest in the defence the way we need it, because he's the best defensive coach and he'll be able to switch it around. Mm-hmm. Okay, he done it temporarily. but the problems are still there. Like, you can't keep blaming Mourinho. Like, at the end of the day, his CV says you back him when you win things. It's that simple. But no, of course, Tottenham are going to be the only club because we're special, you know, and we have to do it the Tottenham way rather than just do it the right way. Like, honestly, people can say Brendan Rodgers, Nagelsmann, people like that. They're not leaving their clubs to come here. Like, you know what I mean? I even struggle into the summer to see what top players are going to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not on Mourinho. These problems were here before Mourinho walked in the door. Mourinho was brought in to try and cover them up.
Yeah, I agree. Just before we continue that, I want to get to a few super chats here. Awesome all coming in with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Says Jose is never the problem. First week Jose became a coach, saw that the defense was so bad, he had Kane defending in his own half. Did you notice that? And look, there were some stats last season with regards to Kane and his clearances and his blocks for Spurs, and he was right up there with the centre backs in terms of people that were doing that. So like, I did notice that, and like, a lot of people say, well, Jose is the best defensive coach in the world. He should be able to get the best out of this defense, or, you know, he's brought Eddie King and this should be better. People seem to forget that one of Pochettino's last games with Spurs, we lost 3-0 away to Brighton. And it could have been a lot worse if they had better finishers at the end of their pitch. It could have been a lot worse. This defense has been terrible since before.
7-2 to Bayern Munich.
7-2 to Bayern Munich as well. We lost to Colchester in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
This team was rotten before Jose Mourinho even came in, and he did notice that the defense was so bad. And when a manager comes into a club, you have to start somewhere. You can't just come in and say, okay, let's go win the next game. You have to start somewhere, and he tried with that defense, and he did a decent job last season in terms of kind of shoring up that defense a bit. Even towards the start of this season, we played Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal 3 games in a row and didn't concede a goal in any of them. But it comes to a stage where these players are comfortable in their position and feel as though they're irreplaceable in this team, and that's where the investment is needed. Last summer, we needed to get a centre-back, and look, we did get Joe Rodon, but he's not the centre-back that we did need. And Detrix Kane here as well, coming in with another super chat. Thank you very much, Detrix, for that. Says, I'm furious with Mourinho and how he's treating Rodon like crap, not making the bench or Europa squad, and he still trusts Dyer and this donkey. Just on that point with Joe Rodon not making the Europa League squad. For those who don't know, Jose left Rodon out of the Europa League squad for the knockout stages, quote, out of respect for the players who got us there in the first place. Now, look, I didn't agree with that at all, but just to follow on with Dexter's point here, I put Joe Rodon and Japhet Tanganga in a similar bracket. Marcelo, we'll come to you in this one. Tanganga when he's played this season, he's been quite good. Yeah. Now, like, obviously today wasn't his best performance at Spurs. No one in that first half had their best performance, but he was ripped off at half-time for Matt Doherty, who I don't think completed a single cross. Almost every single cross Matt Doherty put in hit the first man. What do you make of how Jose is treating the likes of Japhet Tanganga and Rodon?
Bro, like, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, today, like, I know David here is defending Jose, and look, listen, I'm not Jose out, and I had a long discussion with Jose. Whenever you talk about the problem at this club, you look at the bigger picture, it always works its way up to down. You know what I mean? That's how it always is. But you know what I mean? There's no point in talking about the board right now. You know what I mean? It's, you know what I mean? We have to work with the players, you know, that we have, and I think Jose didn't do it today. You know what I mean? No Toby, bro. How in a big game like this in a London derby, how are you putting in Dyer and Sanchez? I said it before the game. That's a recipe for disaster. But as far as Tanganga goes, bro, like, I think he was fine at right back. I kind of disagree with you. I thought he wasn't particularly amazing, but he was doing the job. You know what I mean? There was no balls going through. I mean, the man put his nuts, you know, on the line. You know what I mean? Just hop across.
The ultimate sacrifice.
Like, bro, if that's not the ultimate sacrifice, I don't know what is, bro. The man, you know, risked having children, but like,
I think the Doherty substitution was in a way to affect the game going forward, because he did have a hand in 2 goals in Europa League. So, like, as good as Tanganga was defensively, like, you know, we were already 1-0 down. So Mourinho was trying to affect the game going forward. And that's why he done that with Doherty, to try and see. But again, you know, when you bring on the player and they let you down, what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? They end up making him look stupid because people are saying, why did he do that? Why did he do this? But in football terms, when you think into it, like, okay, Japhet Tanganga was great defensively, but when you're 1-0 down, you need more going forward to try and get back in the game. And that's why he brought on Doherty, thinking he might get that, but it didn't happen.
But David, I would say this, and I think you would agree with me. I think he's utilizing Tanganga wrong, bro. I think you need to put Tanganga in center back with maybe Toby, or you know what I mean. Like, I think, like, honestly, I think any big game, you know what I mean, any big game, we have to play Toby, bro. We just have to. You know what I mean?
But Toby hasn't looked the same this season either. Like, Toby has also made mistakes. We can't
but he has made mistakes.
No matter who he plays.
No. I know this, but you definitely see we are definitely more solid. Anybody can see we're definitely better defensively when Toby is playing. It's clear to see we're better defense. Like if you look at all of our clean sheets, I think we're with Toby. I don't think we kept one single clean sheet with Sanchez and Dyer. I don't think we've ever kept a clean sheet with them. You know what I mean? We've kept clean sheets with Toby. So for me, I think it's obvious to see that, obviously Toby isn't perfect, but he's our best center back. So in a big game like this, in the London Derby, you play your best center back. And I think we need to be playing Tanganga also as center back, and playing Rodon more often. You know what I mean? There's no point in putting Sanchez. I already said it. Like Sanchez is just give up on him, bro. He's finished at this club. Like I don't know, man. I do have some criticism for Jose today, man. Like I really do, man. I thought he was very lackluster.
Yeah, and we just have a comment here from Tosh saying it's nothing personal. Just had to change the dynamic. You guys are clueless. I'd say calling us clueless is kind of personal, but we'll move past that. I'll take a few comments here, a few quotes from Jose Mourinho after the game today. One of them, he said, the results are the consequences of multiple situations in football. Mine and my coaching staff methods are second to nobody in the world. He also said, I feel that we aren't in the position in relation to our potential, even if I think for a long, long time that we have problems in the team that I cannot resolve by myself as a coach. Now, before we talk a little bit about that, we've another super chat here. Awesome Mall coming with another $5 saying, let's be honest with each other, 4 years from now, we are still going to be mid-table because Levy already said he's not investing. Look, it's hard to disagree with you on that one. It really is, but thank you very much
We're already
for that
mid-table.
super chat.
Well,
We're
ninth.
We're ninth. We dropped below Aston Villa today. Robbie, we'll come to you in this one. We have problems in the team that I cannot resolve by myself as a coach. What do you make of that?
Honestly, I think he's kind of saying, look, teams like... Honestly, I think he's calling out the board there, kind of getting something in, saying, what more can I possibly get out of this team? And how this board and how even Daniel Levy as well. Now, for me, the main blame lies with, more so Enoch and Joe Lewis. But for me, Daniel Levy as well, this board. And the issue is, right, how dare you have the audacity? You've been chasing down Jose Mourinho for years, says Daniel Levy. How dare you have the audacity to finally bring in that coach, yet not back him with the players he wants? And we have had so many deals last summer, for example, Skriniar, right? We wanted to get Skriniar. What does Daniel Levy do? He's a tight negotiator. So he goes, okay, you want him for 60 million, we'll pay 30 million. No, 60. How about 40? No, 60. 41. No, 60. 42. Okay, negotiation's over. It's like he puts himself in this situation where now Inter Milan don't want to negotiate with us. And I know many clubs that wouldn't want to negotiate with us because we put ourselves in this situation where this board has brought in the manager they've been chasing down for so long, yet they're not willing to take the blame themselves for not actually backing him with the players he wants and sending messages out to the likes of Alex Gold to talk about foreign players and all of this. It's rubbish. It's a load of rubbish. And if you ask me, right, I look at it from a standpoint as what Jose is actually trying to say there is, I've done everything I possibly can. I've gotten everything I possibly can out of these players. Now it's your turn, board. Now it's your turn, Enoch, Joe Lewis, Daniel Levy, to actually give me some money so I can actually get the players I want. Like you said, David, his CV says if you back Jose Mourinho with the players he wants, he's winning you stuff. Inter Milan, Inter backed him. What happened? He won stuff with them. He brought an Inter Milan side to the Champions League. Even small little Porto. Small little Porto, when Jose Mourinho was that young, hungry manager, went out and won them the Champions League. But for me,
UEFA League and Champions League back to back, I believe.
Exactly, yeah. And I always stick up for Jose Mourinho, but I think today, it's all on the players, but you have to look at it from a standpoint as, I think, like you say, Marcelo, Toby probably should have got out there. Toby even rode on as well. I think Tanganga, that's the only thing I can really say. Tanganga's more of a centre-half than a right-back. And I just think, even if we play Toby, but that's my one criticism of Jose. I think we could have played Toby. I think we could have played Rodon, maybe, switch it up, maybe, take out some of the players who've been making mistakes. But at the end of the day, we're not in these training sessions. We don't see what's happening. Yeah. We don't know. I think we only know 10% of what actually goes on behind the scenes at Tottenham. So who knows what actually happened. But if you ask me when it comes to Toby, sorry, David, I'll just finish what I'm saying quickly. But when it comes to the likes of Toby Alderweireld, you have to remember he's getting older. He's getting older. And do you think he's going to want to spend the last couple of years in his career with this? Do you want to think he's going to be remembered? Oh, I have my legacy at Tottenham Hotspur. What do you win? An LG Cup. No one does. I mean, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them goes in the summer. But as I say, David, go ahead.
Just when looking at them comments, the secret code in the comments, it's exactly what happened on the back end of Pochettino before he was getting sacked. He gave you all the secret codes in his conferences. You know, you may as well call me coach, not manager. I don't have sound players. You know, the squad needs a rebuild. It's going to be painful. The board going to basically back me. You know what I mean? And now you see Mourinho coming out. Well, look, you know, I've done all I can with all these dummies because no matter who I put in, no one does a job. So, like, you know, now it's over to you, board. You know what I mean? It's up to you where you want to take this. Now, I actually have a question for you, lads. And I'll give it to you, Matty, first.
Can I just go to the super chat very quickly before we do that?
Yeah,
just awesome. All here $5 saying just remove everyone in the middle and defense and play the youth till the end and focus on Europa. And look, I think we're at a point where we do need to give those young players a bit of a chance to prove that maybe they are better in our first team than some of the experienced senior players we have. But it's a very bad position we're in when we have to say that. But go ahead, David.
The question I ask you, Matty, is so, like, for me, like, if Levy said he will 100% sack Jose or back Jose with the players he wants, would you give Jose another roll of the dice?
100%. 1,000,000%.
Because he's a serial winner, because there's no one else better when he has the players and the money to go and win your trophies. Yep. So therefore, like, you know, if it's not working out with Jose, like people are saying Jose out, like, how is it his problem? You know what I mean? Like, I think we'd all agree here. I think we'd all roll the dice if Daniel Levy came to Jose Mourinho and said, we're going to back you, but the fast decision. I think we'd all sit here and say, yeah, 100% go for it. You know what I mean? Because of his CV, it's proven. It's proven. You know what I mean? If not, so would you rather back Jose with the players and the money he needs and roll the dice, or would you rather bring in someone for a long-term project?
I'd 100% back Jose, and I'd be interested to see how Jose out Spurs fans do respond to that. But what I've said for so long is, no matter what happens when Jose is here, we could go and we could win 4 or 5 Premier Leagues in a row. When he leaves, there's going to be disparity and there's going to be a lack of cohesion in that dressing room. And the only thing that can make that worth it is trophies. And we're at a stage now where if Jose Mourinho does walk out, there's going to be a big divide in that dressing room, because as we've heard, some of those players are 100% behind Jose Mourinho, including Harry Kane. And unsurprisingly, some of them aren't behind him. And look, I'm sure we can name a few players off the top of our head who do fall into that bracket. I would assume Stephen Bergwijn, Toby Alderweireld, and potentially Moussa Sissoko of late as well, perhaps questioning the how much that manager can bring us, how far he can bring us. But we need a trophy. Otherwise, this entire thing is not worth it. And there's no point in rolling the dice for bringing Jose in the first place if we're going to cut it short at the first sign of trouble. Look, I'm not saying it's only a small problem right now. It's a massive problem that is at this football club. But Jose's track record, Jose's history, every other club he's been at, tells you that if you buy him the players he wants, he will win trophies. Yeah. And this is why I refuse to fall into the Jose out narrative, because yes, he's not doing a good job right now. Yes, we're having terrible results, and yes, we're in a position in the table that we should never be in. You know, excuse me, he even said that himself, saying we're not in the position in relation to our potential. But this isn't his squad. This isn't Pochettino's squad either. This is a squad full of players who, some that came through that the entire era of Pochettino and were fantastic. Some players who were Pochettino's fewest signings when he thought he's gone on to the second step of his rebuild. Some of those players are the players that Jose brought in last January out of sheer panic. And the rest of those players are ones that were brought in last summer and nobody knows who wanted them. Nobody knows who bought them. This is not a squad. This is 11, 18, 25 players, whatever it is, who just so happen to wear the same jersey. There's no cohesion, no chemistry within this team. And you can't expect any manager, and I mean any manager on this planet, to be successful with that. Look at Jurgen Klopp. He's one of the best managers in the world. He won the Premier League with his Liverpool side, yet when he came in there was nothing in that team. They were delighted to make it into the Champions League for the first time. Look at Pep Guardiola when he came into Manchester City. Man City had become a team who consistently sack managers, and almost like Chelsea, where they bring in a manager successful for a few seasons, one bad 6 months, and they sack him. Pep Guardiola had to do a lot to that team. People forget he finished 4th in his first season with Manchester City, and they wanted him out, because that is not a good result for Manchester City, especially when Pep Guardiola is there. Any manager, no matter who you are, you need your squad, and Jose Mourinho does not have his squad. And for me, that is why I refuse to turn against him. If he had spent 200-300 million, if this was his team, I would be sitting here going, without a shadow of a doubt, get him out of my football club if he's wasting this much money. But he hasn't had that money. He just hasn't, and I refuse to call him out for that.
Oh, also, I would say this, and as far as the Rodgers and Jose comparison, right? I think that's a good topic, because, right, our motto is we gotta sell and we gotta buy, right? That's our motto, right? And I can respect that. I can respect that type of business. But you know what I mean? We're talking about doing the job, right? Jose is doing a bad job, but also how many other people are also doing a bad job at this club that are affecting Jose's job? You know what I mean? Like for example, like I always go about him, like Steve Hitchen, bro. We should have never fired our last scouting director. I
Paul
forgot his
Mitchell.
name. Yeah,
Paul
Paul
Mitchell.
Mitchell. We should have never sacked him, bro. Or not sack him, but like let him go, bro. You know what I mean? We also got
He
Louis.
walked
Yeah.
because he couldn't work with Levy.
Yeah, but like if you look at Luis Campos, right? He's available right now, one of the best. And look what he did with what was it, Lil? Or was
Yeah.
it Lil? Yeah, it was Lil,
Yeah,
right? Look what he did with it. He got young players. He has an eye for young players. He has an eye for youth talent. Got them for cheap and then sold them for like almost a triple of what they got them. You know what I mean? That's our motto, right? So if that's our motto, right? That's what we like. And you got a guy like Luis Campos available, you go right for him, bro. You know what I mean? Because he would fit perfectly at our club, but we didn't get him. You know what I mean? And he's probably gonna go to another club. You know what I mean? That's just what we do. And we cut so much corners, Matty. But yeah, read that super chat. I know.
So just we get onto that in a second. Just while we are on the point of Luis Campos, 10 players that Luis Campos unearthed, brought into the first team fray for the first time. The following 10 players: Anthony Martial, Kylian Mbappe, Tiamui Bakayoko, Bernardo Silva, Thomas Lemar, Benjamin Mendy, Nicola Pepe, Boubacar Samari, and Victor Osimhen.
This is a guy
They're
that can
incredible
transform a
players.
club. Yeah, this
Camavinga's there now as well. He was his sign spot as well.
Camavinga as well. Incredible players. Darius is here. Who's a better manager, Jose or Rodgers? Honest answer. Look, we get that in a split second. Also, Mark coming in with another super chat here saying, "I'm proud of you guys. You guys are doing a good job. You four are superb, and you say the truth about the club. Keep up the great work, mates. Thank you." Look, thank you very, very much to you for all the support from the channel in terms of super chats, like and subscribing, and of course those kind words there. But Robbie, we'll come to you on this one. Jose or Rodgers?
Jose. Thank you for putting in your super chat. Keep getting them in as well if you want to see Matty more often on this channel. But Jose, without a doubt, and I just think that's a bit silly. Because you look at Brendan Rodgers and you look, he's a guy who went to Liverpool, didn't succeed, and then he had to rebuild himself in the easiest league to win in the world until Steven Gerrard came in, Celtic in the Scottish League, and then came into Leicester. And he's doing a really, really good job. But people forget he's actually been backed. He's been backed for the players that he wants. He's been backed for the team. And now Leicester are absolutely flying. They just beat the Premier League champions 2-1. I mean, it's not that hard to beat the Premier League champions unless you're Tottenham. You go out there and get smashed 3-1. But as I say, they just beat... they came off a good result today as well. If anyone's going to catch up, which I highly doubt, it would be Leicester. But, they won't, to be fair. But as I say, I think they may get top 4 this season. And that's because they've been backed. You would have backed Jose this season. He would have got you top 4. And for me, going back to that question you asked a while ago, David, you asked it to Matty as well. And I'll give my opinions on it right now, about the Jose or a long-term project. For me, you give Jose next season and you back him. No matter what you do, you back him with the players he wants in the summer. You get the deadwood out, right? Daniel Levy, I'm talking to you, Enoch and Jonas. You get the deadwood out. You get Sanchez out. You get Lamella out. You get all of these people. Lamella, he's all right, but you get Lamella out. You get Sanchez out. You get Dyer out. You get all these backups, even Aurier as well, all these former backups basically from Mauricio Pochettino. You sell them and you actually back this manager. You invest in the club and then you give him next season once, investing in every player that Jose wants, every player top of his list, investing in that. And then if Jose doesn't succeed, then we can look at new managers. But only then, once you back him with a team and the players that he wants. But for me, I look at it from a standpoint as Pochettino had a much better squad than Jose Mourinho. Prime Danny Rose. Danny Rose on form, on fire, fantastic. Kyle Walker with Kieran Trippier as a backup right back. Sergio Aurier was our 3rd or 4th at that time, But now he's top because it's the lack of investment of this board, which is the reason why we haven't found replacements. We tried to replace Christian Eriksen with a 2-year-old version of Christian Eriksen. Like, I can't seem to understand the logic where this board's actually coming from and what they're actually trying to do with this club. Because you look at it from a standpoint as well as, he had Moussa Dembele as well. Moussa Dembele, for me, one of Tottenham's best players over the past few years. Absolutely fantastic. Wanyama, what's happened to Wanyama even as well? Beast in that midfield area. Sissoko was a backup there. Sissoko starting now. I like Sissoko, but Sissoko starting now. You look at Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli on form, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, a fantastic squad. And he wasn't back with the players he wants, but he got those players. He managed to get those players do the best that he possibly can out of them. Get them to a Champions League final, which was a miracle, and then get sacked a season after. Which I think was ridiculous. But Jose Mourinho gets brought in, yet You've given him one whole season overall. You've given him a year and a little bit, and you're saying sack him, yet you haven't backed him with a player he wants. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well,
And the thing,
sorry.
I was just gonna say a quick point, and the thing is, like, Lily White, and I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to like approach this as a realistic, like I'm trying to like approach this as a realistic perspective. We're never gonna be a big club, like we're never gonna be a club that's gonna spend like, what I mean, 300 million in a window. Just never gonna be that. That's not like our motto, right? But what I'm saying is, right, I'm looking at Leicester and Liverpool, right? If you look at with Klopp, right, how well they've been doing business over the past few years, right? They've been selling players, big players, and maybe people are saying, oh, sell Kane and what I mean, rebuild the squad. But the issue is, what I'm scared of, Maddie, is that our board like to cut corners too much. You know what I mean? Like, I understand you want to be a sell and buy players. You want to be a self-sustaining club, right? But you can't cut corners. You know what I mean? You got to get the likes of Luis Campos. You know what I mean? And to make sure that the players we are going to get for cheap are going to be, real prospects. You know what I mean? Like, and when you got to sell players. First of all, we're not even selling players. You know what I mean? You got to be able to sell players. So things needs to work, and you need to get the right people on board. Like Leicester, you know what I mean? Leicester have the right people on board. And, you know what I mean? Look at them. They sold Maguire for 80 million. They got Castagne. They got, you know what I mean, like Pereira. They got like a lot of these other players for very, cheaper and made a profit. You know what I mean? Same as Liverpool. They sold Coutinho, and then they got Van Dijk, and they got, you know what I mean, Fabinho and Alisson, and they actually made profits. You know what I mean? So like with me, that worries about this club is that they always, anytime they find a way to cut a corner, they do it. You know what I mean? Anytime, like for example, like I told David this. If Barcelona right now said, you know what, we don't want Messi anymore, we're willing to sell him for 20 million, right? And then they find a player that's 19 million, they go get the player that's 19 million. Because why? Because he's 1 million less and he's gonna have less wages. It's just how this club runs, man.
Just,
you know what I mean?
Just on the whole thing you were saying there, Marcelo, about the way we bring in players and hope to sell them on for a profit. Like, I can get that, right? I understand that. I'm not stupid to ignore that. But there also comes a point that when you're in touching distance of glory, like we have been over the last few years, you have to roll that dice and go for it. You have to put in some quality players. You know what I mean? You can still bring in players and nurture them and sell them on for a profit. But when you're close to glory the way we were, and everyone's telling you, the pundits, the fans, everybody's telling you you're 1-2 players short, and then you don't go and do that, that is a cardinal sin. You should be going to confession in the morning. You cannot do that. You have to gamble, especially since the Spurs fans have sat with this process for so long. It's unforgivable. And on this Jose out thing as well, these Jose out people are trying to sell the narrative that, we're going to get in some miraculous manager who's going to come in and they're not going to spend a penny, but they can get more out of these players. It's false and it's dangerous. At the end of the day, no matter if you bring in Rodgers and Nagelsmann, like the manager's names they're banding around, you have to be honest and also put this to their argument. They are going to have to buy players. They're going to have to buy defenders. They're going to need investment. To try and sell this narrative that Rodgers and Nagelsmann are heroes and they can come in and they're going to get better out of these players with no investment, it's not realistic.
No.
I just want to get to the super chat here myself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I just want to say big up 10 Men 007 because he gave a lot of good super chats during the watch along. So big him up.
Thank you very much, Tim, and I appreciate that. Of course, I missed the watch along, but I massively appreciate all that support. Tin Man says, guys, how can we get this board out? I'm sick of them. They're the main problems. Lack of transfer activity over the years are now costing us. We're going to get to that question very, very shortly. First, I was want to work back through a few comments. Eduardo says, what does Matty do? Aside from crying myself to sleep after Spurs lose, I work for Opta as a senior analyst. Rowan says, guys, it's this simple. If the club or the board want to go in the direction of winning things and moving forward as a big club, then Jose in. But if not, then sell Jose, Kane, Son, and most of our players. Kind of echoing something that we've been saying a bit over the last couple of weeks. Mr. K says, guys, it doesn't look like Jose will survive until the summer. There's another comment there I wanted to get to. If I can find it. It was... Look, I'll look back for it anyway. But I suppose we'll come to you, David, on this one on the super chat. Is there anything we as fans can do to get rid of this board?
Look, I've said it before, and to be honest with you, I don't really want to go down that route because I don't want to ever encourage anybody to revolt against the board. You know what I mean? But there's one way. Look, football is, like, people keep telling me football's a business. I get that. And they keep telling me, fans don't matter. Football survives without fans. Wrong.
No, fans run it.
Yeah, fans own football. it's like any business. You know, you can't run a successful business unless you have the customers. It's that simple. At the end of the day, like, you know what I mean? The only way we, like, if we wanted, the power we have is basically the only reason the way these owners are going to listen to us is if you hit them in the pocket. That's it. Arsenal fans done it with their board, and their board now are trying to, you know, try to appease them. Right? The only way we're realistically going to get change, well, first of all, it actually has to start with the fan base. You have to talk about it. You have to talk about it first and foremost. Once the idea is out there and people start talking about it and people can see what you're saying, you know what I mean? Then it creates, like, you know, people wanting to create action. And when you get action, you get change. The way of this getting to this board, first and foremost, I actually wish that we could get to the board and, like, you know, that they can have conversations with the fan groups, the fan supporter clubs, realistic conversations. You know what I mean? Because I have heard that, you know, the people that go and sit with the board, they're not allowed to ask certain questions, so they're not getting the truth from the club. Whereas, like, we should be able to go in there and ask the questions that the fans want answers to, and then we can see and take it from there. Oh, my ultimate game would be get the board to work with us, you know, because realistically we can see what they're trying to do, but they're taking it too far. They're actually damaging our club. Whereas if they could listen to us and, you know, say, look, yeah, we did mess up over them times when we were close. We should have got the 1 or 2 players. We didn't. In future, we're going to do that, and we're going to build towards that. First and foremost, I'd love to work with the board, but it doesn't seem like they're going to do it. And the only way of doing it is stop going to the matches, stop spending your money in and around the stadium, don't buy anything out the club shop, cancel your BT Sky Sports membership, and that's it. That's the only way you're going to affect them. And then start putting your money into super chats and that for Matt Hayes and the fan channels like this, because then we can talk about it. And when we're the most listened to people, and, you know, and that starts happening, the board have to act, and that's the way it's going to happen.
Yeah, to add to that, I don't think we'll ever take the board out unless, you know, they find a buyer who's willing to pay for like triple the price that they paid, that they bought the club for, which would be ridiculous. But I mean, like, I don't think there's no way to get them out, but I think there's ways to, like, pressure them, bro. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it's just like I can understand the way how they're trying to run the club. It is a model that, you know what I mean, maybe it's not going to win us trophies year in, year out. Like, you know, you look at Liverpool, they don't win trophies year in, year out. But if you do it effectively, you know what I mean? But the thing that they're doing is not helping anyone. The direction in which they're going, like, first off, I know I got off topic, but, like, the direction they're going is not even helping anyone. It's not even helping themselves. You know what I mean, Maddie? Like, like, these guys are cutting so many corners that it's causing us to fall in the league. You know what I mean? It's causing us, like, yeah, they save money in a short run, but the money that they miss out on, like Champions League football, like, you know what I mean? Like, commercial status, you know, fans and stuff like that, it's going to be drastic, man. I mean, if you get a Luis Campos and you get a proper, you know, scouts person, you know what I mean, in there, and we actually do smart business and not just stupid business, you know what I mean? Like, people, like, I'm telling you, like, people saying, oh, sell Kane and rebuild. I'm telling you, if we sell Kane, we're not going to see half of that money, knowing how this board operates. We're not going to see half of that money, and we're going to spend like 20 million on like 7 different players, you know? Like, if this board was smart, they would get like a Luis Campos, get these young prospects, get a guy with an eye for young prospects. Like for example, we bought, like, no offense to Stevie B, but we bought Stevie B for 25 million. We could have gone Castagne and, you know what I mean, a lot of other different players that we needed for that amount of money. You know what I mean? Like Buenda, like a lot of players we needed, bro. Like it's just like the recruitment is not good enough. I mean, the taking corners is not, it's not helping anybody. It's not even helping themselves business wise. It's honestly just a dumb business idea, because imagine if we got a guy like Luis Campos, right? And he's like getting like the Mbappes of the world, you know what I mean? And he's getting these superstars in. And then, you know, once in a while we're selling these superstars for like the triple the amount. The club is going to be making more money. You know what I mean? Like it only helps the club. They don't want to get Campos because he's going to cost more. You know what I mean? His wages are going to be bigger. He's going to demand more. You know what I mean?
Like,
so like,
not only that, like, their business model worked for them, Marcelo. Getting to the Champions League, you know, to get to the Champions League, it worked. They've done it in a good way. But surely when you reach that big time, you invest in the squad and you make sure you keep having that higher revenue coming in.
I understand that.
You know what I mean? Surely you keep doing that.
No,
But what they've done is, when we made the Champions League, over all the years, in terms of not only revenue we get for being in there, competition money, but in terms of, you know, what they've made selling tickets and in and around the stadium, we genuinely have not seen that reinvested into the squad.
Yeah, and exactly, no, and that's what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? We I don't mind a long project. Look, listen, if Jose said, you know, if Enix said, look, we have this 5-year project, we're gonna do it right. You know what I mean? We're not gonna cut corners, but you know what I mean? We can't lose profits. I can understand that, right? But the thing is, they cut too many corners. Like, it's to a point where they're cutting so many corners, it's actually gonna hurt them eventually. Because when you have a chance to sign a guy like Grealish for $6 million, and you have Mitchell, everybody's saying that this kid's gonna be the next star, which he is now, right? Like, when you have a chance to sign Mane for $30 million, you know what I mean? When you have a chance to sign these players for that amount, like, you have to be smart and take it and understand that it's going to be better for the future.
Bruno
And
as well.
yeah, and the issue is now what we're having is because we've been cutting so many corners, we can't sell any of these players because nobody wants them. You know what I mean? So, like, even their buy and sell model is completely ruined because of that. You know what I mean? Like, cause Levy is stubborn. He doesn't want to lose a profit, right? But who is going to buy Sanchez for 40 million? You know what I mean? Who's going to buy these other guys? Who's going to buy any, like, you know what I mean, any of these guys for the amount we bought them? So it's not even like a smart business model. You know what I mean? Like, we say that these guys are smart businessmen and that, you know, our ways of, you know, self-sustaining club has always been very good. But really, over the last couple of years, it's been dreadful. It was very good when we got Poch in. You know what I mean? We had a good scouts team. We had a good eye for talent. We were getting like players like Eriksson, like Toby, Jan for, you know, relatively cheap and really building a project. But they went away from that. When we start getting a success, they went away from that and chose the easy route. And you can't do that. And it's not going to help them. Trust me, it's not going to help them as a business as well. They're going to make less money.
Yeah, you can guarantee, because the value of the club is dwindling every result we get.
Yeah, I think they still have, of course, a fantastic stadium and training ground to fall back on. In some regard, it's not like they're not risking the entire value of the club. You know, there's a lot there for them to, if they do decide to cash in someday, fingers crossed. There's a lot there for them to kind of fall back on. Look, for those who are watching, there's still over 200 people in the live chat, so please smash that like button. If you let us know you're enjoying the stream, hit that subscribe button as well if you are new for live watch-alongs, of course, coming up for hopefully all of the Spurs games in the future, for the Tottenham Fan Voice podcast. Live previews, reviews, and of course these discussion videos as well. Also, get your suggestions in the live chat on how Spurs can turn the situation around, and we'll try to get to as many of those as possible. But I suppose we'll have a chat about, or is realistically, David, we'll come to you first. Realistically, being the main word here.
Yeah.
How can Spurs turn the season around?
Right now, without investment, honestly,
this season without investment.
Without investment, you go back to the pragmatic way we played when we were top of the league. You go back, you play that way based your whole system. I don't care whether the players want to do it. The players that don't want to do the slog, fuck them out, because they're the cause of this as well. Fuck them out. You go back to the players that want to play his pragmatic way that kept us in the game, and then when he can keep us in the game, and your players like Son and Kane, you can take your chances and you can go on and win a game. So we go back to that exact way we were playing. Forget this trying to please the fans. Let's do it the Spurs way, even though it's never won us a thing. You know what I mean? You know, let's all tickle the players' balls and, you know, pretend everything's rosy and, you know, you're a good squad player. You know what I mean? No. We need to start being ruthless. Football is ruthless. It starts with being ruthless. No room for sentimental in this game. If you want to be a champion and you want to win, you know what I mean? You either go Jose's way and play that pragmatic way and do the hard slog, or, you know what I mean, you can go home and sit at home and do a bike at home. I wouldn't even let them into the training ground if they don't want to do it. Because at the end of the day, who do these players think they are to decide I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that? When they've done fuck all. When they've done absolutely nothing for this club. Never once lifted a trophy. You know what I mean? Who do they think they are? So you go back and you play the pragmatic way. And I don't care who sits there, cries, moans and bitches in my ear about it. You sit there, you suck it up, right? Because if you would have done that in the first place, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now with Jose trying to appease fans and be in as much of a dire situation as we are. So you sit there, you suck it up. If not, I'll bring in Eddie Howe, let him manage the club for you, and then you suck it up when you're crying. So you suck it up and you take that defensive, pragmatic approach, which keeps us in a game, which allows us to win a game, and that's how we move forward. End of.
Kane Clark says, I saw a video of Alistair Gold laughing off the prospect of our board letting Sanchez go for 20 million. We'd be lucky to get 10 million for him. Acone here says he needs to stop being stubborn and play Bale now. I think the incident with Bale not playing today, I think was was probably the correct decision, because if Bale is not match fit and to play 90, well, he played the majority of the game, I think, against Wolfsburger during the week. To start again today, I think it just wasn't the best option. I think we got the benefit of that when he came on. He was a lot fresher than the rest of the players in the pitch, and he had a very good influence in that second half. Of course, nearly scored an incredible goal from outside the box, just couldn't quite do it. Robbie, how does Spurs turn the season around?
Look, honestly, you got to laugh or you cry. So for me, I think the Premier League's gone out the window, if you ask me. It's just gone out the window. Top 4, we'd have to make a massive push. But every week we say this game can the season define, and they go out there and let us down. So I think we need to go for that Europa League. I think that should definitely be our biggest priority. Just that Carabao Cup as well, if we can get that trophy as well. So Europa League for me needs to be massive for us this season. But as I say, I think this season in the Premier League, it's even more frustrating how we started the season off, so on form, top of the league. Everyone was like, yes, thrashing teams the likes of Arsenal, Manchester City, Mourinho, masterclass. Everyone saying Mourinho's back. And then all of a sudden, within 2 months' time, it was only in December, everyone was saying Tottenham Hotspur can still win the league. And within 2 months' time, we're 9th. It's like, what has actually happened to this club? And if you ask me, I look at it from a standpoint as Jose will be here at the end of the season. I know that might upset a lot of Jose out fans, but it's going to cost 35 million to sack him. And if we do, it's the most ridiculous decision ever, heading into a huge summer where we know our board doesn't like investing in sacking the manager for 30 million. So if you ask me, this season, Europa League is massive. Carabao Cup final, that's massive. But I'll get it to one-off game, but I don't know how we're going to beat City in that one. I really don't. So
what's happened at this club is we're too good for defending. That's
exactly.
Too good.
And you know what?
Too good to defend.
We've sat here for so long on this.
That's the spirit.
No, honestly, that's what people were telling me top of the league. No, we're too good to be playing this way. Too good to defend. And you know what happens when you play their way? Well, it's more of a case of, and I don't want to do it, but it's more of a case of I told you so. Because Matty, we sent out the warning shot saying, look, you start playing this way, this is going to happen. We said it. You know what I mean? It's there. It's on camera. But no, we're too good to defend. We're Tottenham. We don't defend. We're too good. Too good for it. And now they're that good. They're that good. They're that too good to defend that now we've just completely abandoned defending. They're that good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm sick of it. I'm fed up.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I couldn't agree with you more. Simon Cohen here is asking for a joke. He's saying he needs a laugh, so give him a joke, please. This is the best I can muster up for you, Simon. In the if my screen would share. No, my screen seems to be broken. That'll come up in a second.
See if you can find a picture of Eric Dyer. I'm sure that'll give you a laugh.
Oh, that's what I've done. I have a picture of Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez, but my screen does not want to share for some reason. And then my Google isn't responding. I might drop out in a second. But
really.
Oh man, yeah. David, you make my day, man.
We're that good now. We've abandoned defending altogether.
He's right though, because a lot of our fan base, they'll stick up for Harry Winks every time he has a ridiculous performance. They'll stick up for Davinson Sanchez, and anyone says the word squad player to me again, I just say shut up.
I'm sick of listening to that.
And you know what's even more painful? My best mate's a West Ham fan, and I can see right now 15 texts have just popped up on my phone, so I won't be looking at those.
Just put the phone down for the night. Put the phone down. Marcelo,
I had to mute. Oh yeah, no, but on that, I had to mute a couple of my Twitter notifications. I got battered by West Ham fans, but how to fix Spurs, bro? Like honestly, like as weird as it sounds, like I remember watching United in the same position as us, and I was like, bro, United are going nowhere, bro. You know what I mean? Like I was like, United are going nowhere. They're not going to win anything, and they're going to finish 9th. But then, like, Jose Mourinho somehow wins, like, the Europa League out of all the odds, and, you know what I mean, pulls a miracle out of the hat. So, like, I think Jose Mourinho has given up on the league. I think he's given up on top 4. You know what I mean? Jose doesn't care about top 4, so I think he's going to go all out for Europa League and the League Cup. I think that's what he's looking at. He's not like our other managers. He's not like are you good, Maddie?
Yeah, there's somehow 2 of me in this stream now. I don't know how that's happened. Anyway, sorry, continue.
But as I was saying, like I think we're just not used to this because we're used to like managers. Their objective of the season is top 4. You know what I mean? Like for Pochettino, forget FA Cups, forget Europa Leagues. top 4 was his main objective when he first came in. You know what I mean? Same thing as Redknapp. You know what I mean? They didn't care about those trophies. Jose, all he cares about is trophies. I mean, man, like the guy, he dreams about trophies. Like David said, he'd kill his mom for a trophy. You know what I mean? Like the guy is obsessed. And honestly, I think he's taking that approach. I think he's going, because we do seem better and more up for cup games. If you notice that. We do seem to play better in the cup games. So if I'm going to say how we go from here, I say go all out for Europa League and League Cup. Screw it, bro. We're not going to get top 4. So let's try to go out with the blazing glory. You know what I mean? Let's go out like, you know, like the Joker or some shit, you know what I mean? With the fire and everything, like going madness, bro. You know what I mean?
Let's go down with a fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most importantly, Marcelo, the Tottenham way.
Yeah.
Look, I think we better end it there before David gets us in trouble. I'm only joking, David. I love the energy as always. Guys, smash the like button on the stream. Smash that subscribe button as well if you're new for live watch alongs, previews, reviews of the Tottenham Fan Voice podcast as well. David, do you want to let us know where you can find you on YouTube and Twitter?
Yeah. At Twitter, it's at the Irish White. On YouTube, it's the Irish Hotspur. So yeah, every sport there. But honestly, don't forget about my channel. Anyone new here, make sure you smash the best channel on YouTube, Matty Hayes, and then the second. No, well, I'll be the second. So third best channel, Lily White Lane at Robbie. So make sure you smash the subscribe and like button on both channels. Big up.
Absolutely. I will say make sure to head over and subscribe to David's channel as well. I know he's got a lot of work on behind the scenes and some terrific content coming out there very, very shortly. Robbie, where can we find you?
Yes, so if you guys are watching this and a little bit miserable thinking about Tottenham Hotspur, don't worry, because if you want to be more miserable thinking about Tottenham Hotspur, go ahead and check out my channel, Lily White Lane, on YouTube. All kinds of Tottenham Hotspur content, whether it be previews, reviews. I can't stop laughing because at least David has cheered me up a little bit, but as I say, you know.
At least doing the Tottenham Hotspur way. Never Lily White do the Hotspur way.
No, honestly, like, you know, this club just brings me to tears, man. Honestly, I felt like crying. I felt like crying on the live stream. I felt like crying on my stream. I felt like crying on his stream. But the players are not worth the tears. Not worth it. You don't deserve it.
Come on, let's wrap it up. Lily, where can we find you?
Sorry.
Yeah, so please go ahead and check my channel out. Lily White Lane. All kinds of Spurs content, previews, reviews, predicted lineups, their ratings. So please go and check the channel out.
Look, Lily White Lane, go over and check him out. His review for the West Ham game was very, very good a while ago. I did watch it myself as well. Link to David and Robbie's channels will be in the description below. Bobby B coming in with the £5 super chat says, looks to me like Jose knows we can't perform in this league with clowns in defence. He has given up. He will save the likes of Toby for Europa. And I do think there's a part of Jose just putting everything on the Europa League trophy and hoping we can come out of that with a little bit of silverware. Deck W as well coming in with a $2 super chat saying PSG losing with 30% possession. Is Poch finished? What I wouldn't do for Poch back right now. But in Jose we trust. He's a manager in our dugout, fully behind him. Whether people agree with that or not, of course, you're all entitled to your own opinion. Everyone's welcome to the stream here. We love having people with different opinions. But from my point of view, I might as well put faith in the manager. Again, I just want to say a massive thank you to the three lads who were with me here, and as well Arian, who's not with us at the moment, for producing an incredible watch along a while ago in my absence. I think I might just work a little bit more because the watch along reaction was a little bit better when I wasn't here. So maybe I'm the one holding this all back. But thank you very much to the three of you for all that. Anyone, as I said, who is new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button for the Tottenham Fan Voice podcast, live watch alongs, Tottenham previews, reviews, and any type of Spurs content you could possibly want. Make sure to smash that like button. Follow everyone on Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. Links in the description for whatever you need. And as always, thanks for watching.
Come on.